creating wealth, freedom, and security using real estate investing. This is Get Real Wealthy.
You're watching Get Real Wealthy. Now we're going to talk about the refinance process. I always tell people that this is when an investor gets paid. It is the most important step. Do not just send an appraiser to a property and leave it like that, expecting whatever results to happen, like you're rolling the dice. Take some time and make sure that you listen carefully to what's going on. Now, if you bought the property well and you used some apps that are out there to help you to identify what the value of that after repair value is, maybe you talk to some realtors, maybe you take advantage of some apps that are out there. I'm going to link to a couple here that could help you. You should have a good idea of what that after repair value was, and it should have been higher than what it was when you started the project, because you should see some appreciation that happened between the time you purchased the property and the time you finished all the renovations. Now, if you did a really quick update to the property, then perhaps it's not going to take as long. It is really important that you take some time and prepare for the appraisal. Okay? There's lots of financing types that are out there. Hopefully you didn't get stuck in a 5-year term like your mortgage broker tried to get you in. What you want to do is you want to be in a variable rate product whenever you're doing this type of a strategy. Okay? You want to make sure that you have the ability to get out with 3 months interest penalty, or you're in perhaps a private mortgage where you have a 6-month term, something like that, that allows you to get out of the property, the current mortgage, and into an A lender or a better product. We don't have a seasoning period in Canada. In the US, they have a seasoning period depending on the lender that you're going with, which means that it may be a year before you can refinance from your initial purchase. We don't have that in Canada. We're able to refinance much sooner. And there are ways for you to prepare for the appraisal of the property. Now, knowing the comparables and preparing an appraisal package for your appraiser, I find, is a key tool to help you and help you get a higher than appraised value than you initially thought. I've done this numerous times. I've had coaching clients in the past. I don't do any coaching anymore, but I help them prepare for their appraisals. And I actually have a course on preparing for appraisals that are available to members. During the appraisal, you want to make sure that you are walking through the property with the appraiser. You do not want to just find a time, let them go in by themselves. That's not what you want to do. You want to walk through the property. Remember, this is when you're going to get paid. You need to let them know what is the wiring behind the walls that they can't see that's new. Can you show them your plumbing that's new? You can't really show it to them, but you got to talk to them about it. HVAC, you want to talk about that. If you have any bills or any large expenses, you want to share that you've spent all this money and you've made this property exactly what it is today. And you want to make sure that you're talking about the benefits of the property. You don't want to talk about the features. Everybody can see for themselves that it's a 3-bedroom property. The appraiser is going to be able to see that. They're going to see the 2 bathrooms. What you want to do is compare that to the other units or properties in the area and make sure that you talk up the benefits, the differences of this property. Is it right by a school that's one of the best schools in the area? Is there shopping that's close by? Talk about some of the other pieces that make this property unique and better. Put yourself on a different pedestal versus the comparable properties. You want to make sure that you're doing that as best as you can. So during the appraisal, you want to talk that up. You want to provide that appraisal package that we had talked about before, and make sure that you have that ready for the appraiser. And you of course, you want to be friendly and you want to be helpful, but you also want to make sure that you provide the comparables that you think are appropriate. Now, they will decide and use whatever they professionally think they should, but there's no reason why you can't go out and try to help. The other piece that we need to talk about is what happens after the appraisal if you don't get the appraised value that you want. Well, there are a couple different things you can do. One, you can talk to your mortgage broker, or you can talk to your mobile mortgage specialist, the bank, and you can ask them, can I get another appraisal? Sometimes you can. Sometimes you'll be able to pay for another appraisal, and you can go out and perhaps they'll take the second appraisal over the first appraisal, because remember, an appraisal is just an opinion, okay? And we know that there are a lot of opinions out there. So make sure that you ask and see if you can do that. Another option would be to question the comparables that were used in the appraisal. Perhaps they are comparing your legal duplex to a similar single-family home, which is not the same. And especially if an appraiser doesn't know or understand the difference, if they don't have a rental property, if they don't understand why you can get 2 rents and why having a legal 2-unit is different, then it's going to be harder for you to get that higher appraisal. So you need to make sure to question the comps. The third thing that you could do is you could take a short-term mortgage, maybe a 1-year term, maybe a variable rate mortgage, and then go back and appraise the property again in a few months. That could be another option. A fourth option would be get another financial company to come in and put the mortgage on the property and try for a different appraisal. There are lots of different ways of going about doing this, but you're not stuck with an appraisal. So I've got a course on the appraisal process that's part of the membership. You can always check out the membership at educationrei.ca. There's a ton of information no matter where you are across Canada that can help. There's a great course just on getting higher appraisals. Now is time to get into the renting process. There are lots of great books, including the Landlord Toolbox books that I'm going to put in the notes below into the show notes. And you can start renting out those units and getting that cash flow and continuing to build your real estate portfolio. Thanks everybody for listening in on this episode. Make sure that you subscribe and we'll see you on the next episode.
Make sure to check out getrealwealthy.com.
Until next time, I'm Quentin D'Souza. Get out there and take action.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are provided for information purposes only and should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell any securities or to make or consider any investment or course of action. For more information, go to getrealwealthy.com.